Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie. I wanted to do just a quick garden tour because my lilacs have been blooming and we have a lot of the spring blooms going on. So let's get started. So the first place I'm going to start is my dog run. I'm going to be switching this over, and I've started a video series on this little landscape project that I have. So we'll show you that in the upcoming series. Next we have my forest Pansy Red, but it's a little hard to see, because it's up against other trees and everything. But I love the purple color of the leaves. The flowers are gone. This one doesn't seem to seed too badly. We only have a few seeds forming, and they are actually purple like the leaves. Here's a visual of the leaf color. Isn't that gorgeous? Now these will get huge, almost palm size, and this tree will fill in a little bit. So anyway, I love my forest Pansy Red button. It's just about in its full glory. Over here, it's almost at an end, but we have my Sensation Lilac, and it has smelled absolutely heavenly this whole spring. I have one on this side, and then I have one on the other that overhangs my apple trees. So I absolutely love the Sensation Lilacs. Great in my yard. I have one more lilac also in the backyard, and this is my white lilac. I will link a video up above about how to prune lilacs. And one thing that I didn't do last year is cut back the seed heads. And I'm thinking that I may need to do that this year because the seed heads on the Sensation Lilac are not as noticeable. They're still noticeable, but not as noticeable as they are on the white lilac. And it kind of detracted from the show this year. But I really love the delicate blooms on the white lilac. Then we have my fruit trees. We're going to get a ton of apples and pears this year. I'll also link another video on the Dave Wilson Nursery method of backyard orcharding, where you keep your fruit trees small. These are standard trees, so they should be hitting 25 feet, but I keep them pruned. Because of the hill, it's kind of hard to tell, but they're about 6 to 8 feet tall. But if you can see in there, we've got lots of little apples forming. And then we've got tons of pears. Now the pears will self-thin, but the apples don't. So I have gone through and thinned out my apples. And basically what I do is every single one, where every one of these apples was, you can see right there, came in a clump of about 5. So I thinned it out to the biggest one. And so I only leave 1 apple per clump. And if there's clumps of apples that are closer together, I will thin them out till they're about 8 inches apart. So anyway, this is a Jonah Gold, and we're going to get a good harvest off this. And my other fruit trees that I thought I would get a good harvest on, but I think the frost got it, is my pluot. Now, as you can see, those little fruits, they're gone. But I do have one fruit here. I think I'm going to get about 5 total, which is highly disappointing because it was covered in blossoms. Yeah, and they're just about all gone. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Here's another one. So anyway, pluots. We're going to get a few fruit here. I think I counted, like I said, 5. There's another little one right there. So I love the fruit. Over here, my sage has flushed out really nicely. I did not have to prune it. You could see the dead branches in the back from the winter, but I can either cut those back or these will fill in so you can't see them. This is a pyrethrum daisy, and look how gorgeous that is. I love those. Got my oregano, lamb's ears, catmint that attracts the bees. So the spring is just a glorious time. Now I had thought my hydrangeas had completely died, but they are starting to flush back out. What a relief. I was really worried I had lost those. Every single one of them. They're not coming back really strong, but I'm hoping if I fertilize them really well and really take care of them, that they come back nicely. But you can see all the little new growth starting. We've covered my garden area, so I won't go over that too much. But the garden is filling in really nicely. And let's show you the rosemary plant. So here's the rosemary plant. It's been covered with bees every day. The bees have absolutely loved this. It's a little late in blooming this year. Usually it blooms like February and March. We're in mid-May and it's blooming now. I did a video on how to prune grapevines. They're filling in nicely. We're going to get a huge crop again this year. Here's what the buds look like. Buds have yet to open, but yeah, we normally do not have problem with production on the grapevines. And I love this little combination down here. We've got the pyrethrum daisies and we have a deep dark purple iris. This iris was one that my mom had in her yard. She died a couple of years ago and I went and dug that out before they sold the house so that I could have a memory of her. But yeah, I love that combination of purple and pink. And then we've got a little red pyrethrum daisy that's coming out too. They're usually a little bit later than the pink ones. One of my other favorite things in this yard is my giant deep purple lilac. Now this one is just about, it's a lot further along than the other ones, but you can kind of see the color on that. And it's scented up the whole yard. It is absolutely gorgeous and I love that one. This area of my yard, it's gotten really mature. It's starting to get overgrown and it's in need of a redo. So I am going to be taking the grass out. I don't know if it'll be next year, because next year I'm going to be turning this side yard over here. Let's get over the fence so you can see it. The side yard over here is going to be turned into a food forest area. I think we'll keep the grass in line with the deck. So that'll be my next project. And then after that, I'm going to be taking the grass out of my front yard and we're going to redo the front. So this area right through here is overgrown. We're getting a lot of dead in the lavender. So we'll redo it. We'll leave a bit of it and then redo it in a couple of years. Right now my Glow Girl Spirea is in bloom. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous color. I planted my opal, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's my purple basil that I love so much. We've got my irises in the back. And then my ninebark, my little devil ninebark, I think it got hit with that late freeze and it's been having a hard time coming out of it. We do have new growth coming, so it's not gone. It's just going to take a while to recover, I think. Then we have my pawpaw. You can see we've got little fruit forming. I'm not exactly sure if they will survive because we had a ton of them that looked like this last year and we only had 5 fruits. There's another one up here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one will definitely fruit. So I'm really excited. We've got this pawpaw tree. This one did not bloom, but it made it through the winter. It's starting to leaf out now. It is really late, it's May, but it is leafing out, so it's going to survive. So I'm really excited about that. So we've got my front. Some other irises that I really love. These are my earliest irises, and I think the color is absolutely gorgeous against my Alberta spruce. This is another area. If you notice, we only have one bloom in this iris. It's because irises need to be dug up and replanted every 3 years or so. And this one has not been dug up for about 6 years. So it has completely stopped producing flowers. So it really needs to be redone. I may not wait until we redo the entire yard to redo this one. We have a new plant here. This is a chokeberry, an autumn magic chokeberry. It should be really great. And then I planted 3 of my ground cherries through here. They should get about 3 feet tall and produce ground cherries. So it'll be fun to see what those end up looking like and tasting like. We have a few peonies that are just about ready to bloom. These are white, but because they've been overtaken by the cherry tree, I don't get a really good bloom from them. So this whole area needs to be redone. We've got a quail dust bath area. And then we have some more of those mauve iris that are so gorgeous. But this is another area that has not been dug up for many years, and it's really suffered in the bloom area. So this whole thing needs to be redone. And if you look at my butterfly bush, we're not getting a lot of really excellent growth on it. So I think that one's just about done for some reason. When things get overgrown and start to decline, it's actually fun to start thinking about all the new different things that you can do with the area. So that's what we have. One other fruit tree that we have that's in bloom is the Medlar. It did really well after the pruning that we've did this spring. The leaves are absolutely gorgeous this year. They're usually overtaken by aphids, but this year they're big and beautiful. And if you look at the blooms, they are really gorgeous, big blooms. So we should have a good harvest of these, and hopefully next year we don't have an early freeze. I'll link a video where the harvest that we did last year was a total failure. We had to harvest it early because there was going to be a huge freeze that came through early, and they just never ripened. If you're part of the Utah Gardeners homepage, here's the pot that Brian Lloyd and I planted. I'll link that video also. So I think it's doing pretty well. We had a friend come over and give me a red geranium, so I just kind of put it in the center there. It's really pretty. This is another Autumn Magic chokeberry that's going to go into the new area that I'm creating. Over here, catmint's in full bloom. We've got a Dutch iris. We've got yellow snapdragons and some little tiny Johnny jump ups. So this area is looking really good. And then I'm starting a new video series on this area, so I'll link that video where I explained exactly what we're doing. But I wanted to show you what's going on with my fig. I'm really excited about it. If you look really closely, we have a little fig right there and a little fig right here. A little tiny baby fig starting in here. Bit of focus for you. So on this brand new shrub, we have 3 figs. I am really excited. And this is a Chicago hardy fig. Now one other thing that we have that's going to ripen here pretty soon is the surface berries. Now these will be ready in about another month, and you can tell they're ripe, and I'll do maybe a harvest video. I think I did one last year that I can link up at the top. But once the surface berries are completely black all the way to the stem, then they're completely ripe. And they're really sweet and good when you wait until they're fully ripe to eat. So thank you for coming with me on this quick garden tour. I hope you're enjoying this spring and enjoying your gardens, and have a wonderful garden adventure.